All right. Hey, Nate.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for being with me this morning. Can you take just a second to tell whoever's watching who you are, what you
One
do?
second. Okay, thank you. I'm I'm the owner of a company called Even Better Coaching, where I work with those who influence others for a living. And it came up through through the coaching world, or into the coaching world through the fitness industry. So that's my background years ago, and still part of what I do every day as well.
All right. So I know you because we went through coach training together and still working together as peer coaches to support each other, and have had a lot of conversations since we've been working remotely, living remotely, I guess, however, whatever we're doing now, this strange world we're in, and
Yeah.
have had really good conversations about what does this mean and what does it mean for communications and for reputation and for personal um, development and just living in the best way possible through this experience. And I thought it would be interesting for people to hear some of those conversations that we've had. So
Yeah.
thank you for being with us.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks.
All right. So one of the things that we were talking about is the importance of reputation for organizations, even more so than revenue at this point. And that's been the driving factor forever for so many organizations, even in the midst of the rise of purpose and values and all of that. So talk to me a little bit about that shift that you're seeing and what that means.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I just prior to this all happening was working with a number of different organizations, just with coaching their groups individually or as teams. I'm part of an organization full time as well, in addition to the coaching side hustle. Um, and in the conversations that we were having, it was really interesting. Normally they're so like revenue driven, like what are we doing to grow, sales, things like that. And when this started to happen, I noticed that those took a backseat to what's the reputation of our company going to be? What are people going to know, or who are people going to know us as this progresses and as we even move out of it? So it was super interesting. And almost sometimes the same people that I heard money, 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 all of a sudden they were like, no, like we have to do the right thing for people right now. And I really loved hearing that, but it was a really interesting shift.
It is interesting. It's somewhat to be expected, but also I'm seeing a lot of organizations and companies just trying to sell or do whatever they can to survive, right? So they are still very focused on that revenue or monetary piece of keeping their business alive, which is critically important. But for that other group of organizations out there that are really kind of saying like, no, this is our reputation is on the line, and that's what's going to keep us
Right.
alive and thriving when we're able to move through this. What kinds of things do those organizations need to do, or are they doing to connect with their employees or their customers in different ways?
Yeah, I think, and like we were talking earlier, it's it's about being adaptable and stepping up into what you foresee as the new way to do business. And um, one of the things that I'm noticing is the companies that seem to even be doing the best right now with revenue are the ones that have stepped up their communication. They're communicating more to their customers. And I think that it's just the silence that would scare people into maybe pulling away their access to that service in a lot of cases. And so when the communication is improved and even increased, people I'm seeing have there's a feeling of safety and security just in that. Like they know what's going on, they hear me, they want to listen to me, and so I'm going to stay. I'll just keep it the way it is.
Hmm. They hear me, they're listening to me, they get me, right?
Yeah.
So how is that possible? What does it take to have someone feel that?
I think it just takes the desire to have them feel that, and just saying like how do we make that happen, and not worrying so much about finding the best answer at a time like this. It's just about talking. It's about communicating. It's about finding ways to reach out to them in any way that they can. Um, and just being willing, being not afraid to lose. I think that's why someone might hold back. Well, if I talk to them now, they're gonna quit. Let's just hang on to them as long as we can. Don't be afraid if that's gonna happen. We have to set our fears aside and let serving them be more important than the fear that we might have of losing that payment or whatever it is. So just finding ways to reach them, whatever it is, text, email, Facebook pages, groups popping up all over, just to create engagement and interaction with the people who need it.
I have so many things in my head from all the things that you were just talking about. And one of the things that you mentioned, talking about like the fear and trying to move past that, you and I have talked a lot about questions that we could ask ourselves individually that I think also apply for organizations or teams that are thinking about how to connect with people in a different way.
Yeah.
Would you share some of those questions?
Yeah, I think like one of the biggest ones, and I've shared it so much. We talked about it over, a week ago, is when this is over, what will people be saying about me? And even when we look at our organization, what are they going to say about us? What do we want them to say about us? How can we bridge the gap between where we are now and that, future identity that we want to be known as, or how we want our brand to look at that point? Well, what are we going to do between now and then to create that? I think that question, who am I going to have shown up as when this is over, has been super, super powerful for me, for you, for, a lot of the people that we work with as well.
Yeah, I can really see that applying for communications teams, for brands that are trying to kind of scramble and figure out what to do, to be able to kind of take that first step back, ask those questions, make sure it's aligning with everything else they already are, and then pivot from there. Really powerful questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we just keep it up, keep asking ourselves that question, and on a daily basis, what do I have to do today to make sure that ends up being, the result of this really strange time, that we are perceived as individuals and as groups that rose up to the challenges that we were confronted with.
So here's the thing that gets in the way. You said like these are questions that you can ask yourself to help make sure that you're kind of putting the fear over here and that you're moving in alignment with your values and your purpose. But the fear is 10 times more powerful or 100 times more powerful than the ability to step back and ask some of those questions and make sure that you're in alignment. How do we make sure that this stays over here?
I've been thinking a lot about that as well. I think that there are a lot of individuals who have been working on that, question and that problem for a long time before this happened. And I think in a lot of ways, they're the ones who are like, you know what, we can do this. Like, actually, I've been working on this for a long time to kind of be in control of fear, to let my courage be stronger than my fear. Or as an organization, we've been working for a long time to make sure that we're aligned with our mission and our core values. And so right now, those are the groups, the organizations, the individuals who are rising up. So I think in answer to your question, like if the fear seems more powerful than the courage, then that's a signal to like get to work. We need to work on that. We need to work on this as an organization. Let's get to work.
Okay, we're coming up on our time. So I have one last question for you. And it's something that's been really weighing on my mind a lot because I see the effort and the energy that individuals and organizations are putting into connecting with the people and groups that matter to them most. And I keep asking myself, like, what will happen when we all kind of go back to normal, whatever normal will look like? What lessons will we take with us will we just go back to our regular behavior? Like how will this transform the way we connect and communicate with people and organizations, et cetera?
Yeah, I hope we don't go back to the way we were before, because we always say like growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Hey, welcome to this is the way growth feels. This is the right. It's uncomfortable. So this is an opportunity for us to grow. And I think to, in your question, taking note of the lessons, like let's keep keep it in your notes, grab your phone. Oh man, that's a great lesson. I don't want to forget about from this time. Little lessons and big lessons. Because when we do all get in the same room together again, those are the things that we can talk about. What did we learn? How, let's dig out of this. But then what did we learn that we can use moving forward as just part of our new best practices?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so grateful for your time and your partnership. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No, likewise. Thank you.
No problem. Bye.